Well, let's bring in as well our reporter Clovis Casali, who's at Matignon, standing, I suspect, just a few metres away from where Sebastien Lecornu was giving us that message a short while ago. I mean, Clovis, it does very much, he sort of laid out, as Mark was saying, his thoughts about why this has gone wrong. Interesting, though, that he didn't name names. It wasn't a sort of blame game to individuals, was it?
It can't be a blame game because he's looking towards the future, like all of Emmanuel Macron's allies. Let's break it down for our viewers. The situation is Sebastien Lecornu, centrist, centre-right politician, close to Emmanuel Macron. He does not have a majority in parliament, so he needed voices from the right and possibly voices from the left, support from the right, support from the left. The problem is, when you make some concessions towards the right-wing party, say on immigration, on making deeper cuts, saving more money for the French state, well, the left is infuriated. And when he gives things to the left, such as on the pension reform and so on, well, it infuriates the right wing, and he's likely to lose their support. And Sebastien Lecornu said it in a very simple way today. He said, every time we thought we were moving forwards in our negotiations, in our discussions with the various parties, well, lines were moving back. In other words, every time he thought he was making some progress while talking to other parties, he realized that nothing was improving. And he also said, Sebastien Lecornu, the Prime Minister, the most short-lived Prime Minister under the Fifth Republic, well, he said that the political parties never realized that other parties who they needed to make this coalition, or at least get some kind of support from them, well, every party had their red line. And if you don't make any concessions, well, you can't move forward. Sebastien Lecornu also stressing that he had a new approach. He wanted to break away from old politics. Sebastien Lecornu wanted really to give Parliament power in order to pass laws, in order to run smoothly the state affairs. Well, that was proved impossible. So that was the impossible task, as he described it, of Sebastien Lecornu. He had no other choice but to resign. It was a shock resignation. It's happened today.
I suppose everyone in that building behind you, Clovis, is now going to be thinking who's going to be the next person to walk through the gates, or perhaps be driven through the gates, because we've gone through so many prime ministers over the last year. And this time around, Emmanuel Macron, assuming he remains as president, has to try something different, doesn't he?
Well, let's first say that despite many calls for his resignation, or at least for a motion in Parliament to destitute the French president, Emmanuel Macron has always stated loud and clear he's not going anywhere. He is in charge. He was elected by the French people. He will remain president, despite the calls from the far left, despite the calls from the far right of Marine Le Pen. He's staying put. However, he needs to find a solution, because what can he do? Snap parliamentary elections like last time, which proved disastrous? And according to polls, well, the National Rally, the French far right of Marine Le Pen, is tipped to win, possibly even get an absolute majority, or at least a significant lead, according to polls again. Or will he find the perfect candidate, the perfect person to be prime minister here? Remember, 3 weeks ago, he thought that his ally, Sebastien Lecornu, would manage to build consensus, would manage to get some kind of coalition and therefore remain as prime minister. It proved impossible. So what can he do? Where can he find the next prime minister? Possibly from the centre-left side? Possibly from the left wing? Very difficult to say. If Emmanuel Macron makes that decision, he'll lose the support of Les Républicains. He'll lose the support, of course, from the most right-wing figures of the centrist bloc. So it's going to be very difficult for him. And many people now are expecting or predicting snap parliamentary elections very soon. Again, important to stress that according to polls, if there are snap parliamentary elections, the French far right are tipped to win. And that's why it's proving so difficult for the left wing to agree to that, especially the socialists, because many left-wing parties would lose many seats if there were snap elections coming up.